Nobody expected the legend to walk through those doors, but there he was, Larry Bird, the greatest player in Indiana basketball history, standing in front of two of the WNBA's brightest stars with an announcement that could change everything. When the hick from French Lick decides to step back into coaching, the basketball world stops and pays attention. But what could convince a Hall of Fame icon who's been away from the sidelines to take on the challenge of coaching women's professional basketball? The implications of this potential partnership could transform not just the Indiana Fever, but the entire landscape of the WNBA. Two generational talents meeting a basketball legend. The possibilities are endless and the stakes have never been higher. Larry Bird's coaching career in professional basketball established him as one of the most successful transitions from player to coach in NBA history. After retiring as a player in 1992, Bird eventually became head coach of the Indiana Pacers from 1997 to 2000. Leading the team to remarkable success during his tenure. During his 3 seasons as Pacers head coach, Bird compiled a 147-67 regular season record, representing a 2,687 winning percentage that ranks among the highest in franchise history. His teams reached the playoffs in all 3 seasons, including an Eastern Conference Finals appearance in 1999 and an NBA Finals appearance in 2000. Bird's coaching philosophy emphasized fundamental basketball, defensive intensity, and the same work ethic that defined his playing career. Players consistently praised his ability to communicate complex strategies and his understanding of game situations that came from his extensive experience as an elite competitor. The respect Bird commanded from players stemmed from his legendary playing career, which included 3 NBA championships, 3 consecutive MVP awards, and recognition as one of the greatest basketball players ever to compete at any level. His credibility as both player and coach created unique leadership dynamics. Questions arise about how Bird's coaching approach might translate to women's professional basketball and whether his methods and communication style would resonate with WNBA players who represent different generations and backgrounds from his previous coaching experience. Caitlin Clark's connection to Indiana basketball runs deep through her transformative rookie season with the Indiana Fever and her role in elevating the profile of basketball throughout the state. Her presence has rekindled passion for the sport that Larry Bird helped establish decades earlier. Clark's 2024 rookie season statistics of 19, 2 points, 8, 4 assists and 7 rebounds per game while leading the Fever to their first playoff appearance since 2016 demonstrated her immediate impact on franchise success and competitive relevance within the WNBA. Her influence on attendance and viewership created unprecedented commercial success for the Fever organization, with home games averaging over 17,000 fans and television broadcasts regularly exceeding 1 million viewers. This success restored Indiana's prominence in basketball culture. The basketball IQ and competitive intensity that Clark brings to the game align with the fundamental approach that Bird emphasized throughout his playing and coaching career. Both players share reputations for exceptional court vision and clutch performance in crucial moments. Sports analysts wonder whether the combination of Clark's modern athleticism and basketball skills with Bird's traditional fundamental approach could create a unique competitive advantage that might transform the Fever into championship contenders. Sophie Cunningham, currently playing for the Phoenix Mercury, represents one of the WNBA's most versatile and competitive players. Her potential connection to Indiana coaching changes would require significant roster moves and strategic planning by Fever management. Cunningham averaged 2 points, 8 rebounds and 1 assist per game during the 2024 WNBA season while shooting 36.7% from three-point range. Her defensive intensity and leadership qualities have made her a valuable contributor throughout her professional career. The Missouri native brings extensive college basketball experience and professional development that could complement Clark's skill set if both players were to be on the same roster. Her ability to play multiple positions and adapt to different strategic approaches makes her attractive to coaches seeking versatility. Cunningham's competitive mentality and willingness to take on challenging defensive assignments align with the hard-nosed approach that Bird valued during his coaching tenure. Her blue-collar work ethic resonates with traditional basketball values. Questions arise about how roster construction and salary cap limitations might affect the possibility of bringing together multiple elite players under new coaching leadership and whether such moves would be feasible within WNBA operational constraints. Christy Sides currently serves as head coach of the Indiana Fever, having been hired in January 2024 to lead the organization through Caitlin Clark's rookie season. Sides successfully guided the team to playoff contention and managed the intense media attention surrounding Clark's professional debut. The Fever organization has experienced significant changes in recent years, including coaching transitions and roster adjustments as the franchise worked to rebuild its competitive foundation. The addition of Clark through the 2024 draft represented a cornerstone piece for long-term planning. Fever management has emphasized the importance of building sustainable success around Clark's talents while developing supporting players and establishing organizational culture that can maintain competitiveness throughout her career with the franchise. The franchise's commercial success during Clark's rookie season has provided financial resources and increased organizational profile that could potentially attract high-profile coaching candidates who might not have previously considered WNBA opportunities. Sports analysts wonder whether organizational changes might be considered if opportunities arose to bring in coaching leadership with proven track records of success at the highest levels of professional basketball. Larry Bird's relationship with Indiana basketball extends far beyond his professional playing and coaching career to include his role as a cultural icon who represents the state's basketball heritage and values. His influence on Indiana basketball culture remains significant decades after his retirement. Born and raised in French Lick, Indiana, Bird embodied the blue-collar work ethic and fundamental approach to basketball that became synonymous with Indiana basketball culture. His success story from small-town origins to global superstardom resonates with basketball fans throughout the state. Bird's tenure as president of basketball operations for the Indiana Pacers from 2003 to 2012 demonstrated his ongoing commitment to Indiana basketball and his ability to build successful teams through strategic planning and talent evaluation. The respect and admiration that Bird commands throughout Indiana creates unique opportunities for connecting with players, fans, and organizational stakeholders in ways that few other coaching candidates could match. Questions arise about whether Bird's legendary status and deep roots in Indiana basketball culture might provide advantages in recruiting players, building team chemistry, and creating organizational identity that extends beyond typical coaching relationships. The WNBA has seen increasing interest from accomplished male coaches who recognize the growing commercial success and competitive quality of women's professional basketball. This trend reflects the league's elevated status and the opportunities it provides for coaching excellence. Several successful male coaches have made transitions to women's basketball at various levels, bringing different perspectives and experiences that complement the expertise of coaches who have specialized in women's basketball throughout their careers. The integration of diverse coaching backgrounds and approaches has contributed to tactical innovation and strategic development that has elevated the overall quality of play and competitive balance throughout the WNBA. Players have generally responded positively to coaches who bring proven track records of success and demonstrate respect for women's basketball while adapting their approaches to the unique aspects of the WNBA game and culture. Sports analysts note that the combination of experienced coaching leadership with elite talent like Clark could accelerate team development and create competitive advantages that might not be achievable through traditional coaching appointments. The potential addition of a coach with Bird's credentials and reputation could fundamentally alter the Indiana Fever's approach to roster construction, player development, and organizational culture in ways that extend far beyond typical coaching changes. Bird's presence might attract veteran players seeking championship opportunities, and young players wanting to learn from one of basketball's greatest minds. This recruiting advantage could help the Fever assemble talent that might otherwise be difficult to obtain. The credibility and respect that Bird commands could influence contract negotiations, player retention decisions, and free agency attractions as elite players consider the opportunity to compete under legendary coaching leadership. Organizational culture changes might include emphasis on fundamental basketball development, competitive intensity, and the work ethic standards that Bird emphasized throughout his playing and coaching career. Questions arise about how quickly such organizational transformations might take effect and whether the unique demands of women's professional basketball would require adaptations to Bird's traditional coaching approaches and methods. The commercial implications of hiring a coach with Larry Bird's name recognition and basketball credibility could significantly impact the Indiana Fever's business operations, including ticket sales, media coverage, sponsorship opportunities, and general fan engagement. National media attention would likely increase dramatically if Bird returned to coaching, particularly in the WNBA, where his involvement would represent a unique story that could attract casual sports fans who might not typically follow women's basketball. Corporate sponsorship opportunities might expand as businesses seek association with the combination of Bird's legendary status and Clark's modern star power. This partnership could create marketing opportunities that exceed typical WNBA promotional possibilities. Television viewership for Fever games could increase substantially as Bird's coaching debut and ongoing development of elite players like Clark would provide compelling narratives for sports media coverage and fan interest. The potential for increased revenue streams could provide resources for improved team facilities, player development programs, and organizational infrastructure that might create competitive advantages beyond the coaching leadership itself. Bird's approach to player development emphasized fundamental skills, basketball IQ development, and competitive preparation that could benefit players at all stages of their professional careers. His teaching methods focused on situational awareness and strategic understanding. The opportunity for players like Clark to learn from someone with Bird's playing experience and coaching success could accelerate their development and help them reach potential that might not be achievable under traditional coaching relationships. Bird's ability to communicate complex basketball concepts and his experience with managing elite talent could provide valuable mentorship for young players while helping veterans adapt their games to new strategic approaches. The combination of Bird's traditional basketball wisdom with modern analytics and training methods could create comprehensive player development programs that address both fundamental skills and contemporary competitive demands. Questions arise about how Bird's coaching methods might adapt to the unique aspects of women's basketball and whether his teaching approach would resonate with players who represent different generations and backgrounds from his previous coaching experience. The addition of a coach with Bird's credentials to the WNBA would likely influence competitive balance and strategic development throughout the league as other teams respond to the elevated coaching standards and tactical innovations that his presence might introduce. Other WNBA franchises might feel pressure to upgrade their coaching staffs and organizational approaches to remain competitive with teams that have access to legendary coaching leadership and the advantages that such credibility provides. The strategic innovations and tactical approaches that Bird might introduce could influence league-wide trends in offensive and defensive systems, player development methods, and game preparation techniques. Player movement and free agency decisions might be influenced by the opportunity to compete under renowned coaching leadership, potentially affecting roster construction and competitive balance throughout the league. Sports analysts wonder whether Bird's involvement might attract other accomplished coaches to consider WNBA opportunities, potentially elevating the overall quality of coaching leadership throughout women's professional basketball. Professional basketball history includes several examples of legendary players making successful transitions to coaching elite talent, though few have involved the combination of cross-gender coaching and the unique dynamics of women's professional basketball. The most successful player-to-coach transitions have typically involved individuals who possess deep basketball knowledge, strong communication skills, and the ability to adapt their approaches to different generations and playing styles. Bird's previous coaching success with the Indiana Pacers demonstrated his ability to manage elite talent, handle media pressure, and create competitive team cultures that maximized player potential while maintaining organizational standards. The potential return of Larry Bird to Indiana basketball coaching would generate unprecedented excitement among basketball fans throughout the state and create renewed interest in the Indiana Fever from supporters who might not typically follow women's professional basketball. Season ticket sales and merchandise revenue could increase dramatically as fans seek to witness the combination of Bird's coaching and Clark's elite play. This commercial success could provide resources for organizational improvements and competitive advantages. Community engagement opportunities might expand as Bird's involvement could attract attention from youth basketball programs, corporate partnerships, and media organizations seeking to capitalize on the unique story and legendary personalities involved. The cultural significance of Bird's return to Indiana basketball could create lasting positive impacts for women's basketball visibility and acceptance throughout a state that has traditionally focused primarily on men's basketball achievements. Questions arise about how sustained this increased attention might be and whether the novelty of Bird's involvement could translate into long-term support for women's professional basketball beyond the initial excitement and curiosity. The combination of Larry Bird's coaching expertise, Caitlin Clark's generational talent, and potentially other elite players could create championship-caliber competitive foundation that might establish the Indiana Fever as perennial contenders for WNBA titles. Bird's experience with championship-level competition as both player and coach provides valuable perspective on the mental preparation, strategic planning, and cultural development necessary for sustained success at the highest levels of professional basketball. The tactical innovations and strategic approaches that Bird might implement could provide competitive advantages that help maximize the talents of elite players while creating system-wide improvements that benefit the entire roster. Championship aspirations would likely influence roster construction decisions, player acquisition strategies, and organizational resource allocation as the franchise commits to building sustainable success around legendary coaching leadership. Sports analysts wonder whether the timeline for championship contention might accelerate under Bird's coaching leadership and what impact such success might have on the broader landscape of women's professional basketball and its cultural significance. The potential involvement of Larry Bird in Indiana Fever coaching represents a unique opportunity to bridge different eras of Indiana basketball excellence while creating new chapters in the state's rich basketball heritage and cultural identity. The success or failure of such a high-profile coaching appointment could influence future decisions about coaching hires, player recruitment, and organizational development throughout the WNBA as other franchises observe the results of legendary coaching leadership. Long-term implications might include increased national attention for women's basketball, improved competitive standards throughout the league, and enhanced commercial opportunities that benefit all WNBA teams and players. The precedent of accomplished coaches considering WNBA opportunities could attract other qualified candidates and elevate the overall quality of coaching leadership throughout women's professional basketball. Questions remain about sustainability, adaptability, and the long-term impacts of such dramatic organizational changes on both individual careers and the broader development of women's professional basketball as a commercially viable and culturally significant sport. If you're as excited about this potential basketball revolution as we are, go ahead and like this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Larry Bird's coaching style would work in today's WNBA? Could this combination of legendary coaching and generational talent create a championship dynasty? We want to hear your predictions about how this partnership might change Indiana basketball forever. Then hit subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss our coverage of what could be the most significant coaching story in women's basketball history.